Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to each of you for the update. General Clark, I want to talk about the small unit dominance for just a moment and see where you are with that to provide solutions for SOF small unit dominance. And what progress have you made to bolster the collaboration with external government and non-governmental organizations concerning advancement of adversary asymmetric advantages? And then when you look at your resource shortfalls, when it comes to information gathering, situational awareness, where are you with that? As you are very well aware, and as we have talked, Fort Campbell and the men and women that are stationed there, and this is something that's important to them.
Senator, you bring out a great point about our forces. Many times they are working in small teams and they're disaggregated, but they bring with that disaggregation some power of being able to work with foreign partners and providing them all the assets and tools and as we look at this at a point forward that very few could do, and that it's accepting to the host nation that they can work there because they have the culture, they have the language, and most times they're combat credible forces who've been tested on the battlefields in Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria, and providing them all the tools that they need. What we are focused on is specifically giving them the most tools that they can have forward, what we call the hyper-enabled operator that we're putting, that is one of my top 5 technology focus areas to make sure that they have those tools. And a lot of that will be, as you referenced, making sure that we can put artificial intelligence and machine learning forward at the edge where they are.
And in the 22 NDAA, SOCOM, we have the operating concept. You need to articulate an operating concept that supports the joint war fighting concept. And when you're looking at that joint landscape, how do you seek to define that, and then how are you filling in those gaps as you bring in and avail technology?
Yeah, Senator, you're hitting a really key point, that working with AST Solic, who has given us guidance to actually look at our force structure and come up with that operating concept for 2040. Because I believe we have the force size that we need, but within that force size that we have, we actually have to do some restructuring to ensure that we can properly compete with a nation state like China and develop those unique capabilities that will be required for that future conflict.
Okay, and then in that vein, as you look at all of this, how are you going to bring into review different levels of and degrees of specialization and competence, and how do you do that with your existing force?
Yeah, the way we do it now, and it works best, is through experimentation. We actually create exercises and venues so that we can actually test those, and we're doing that today. So as you look at our operations and maintenance budget for this year of about $9.7 billion, that is what directly contributes to that experimentation and building the future force that we will need.
Okay. Before I run out of time, General Nakasone, I always appreciate your insights. I want you to talk for just a minute about the value of the current cyber defense partnerships that you have and how that affects your multi-domain partnerships, how that affects your multi-capable operations.
Senator, let me begin with the partnerships in a number of different phases. So first of all, I would say our partnerships with the National Security Agency is critical to what we do. U.S. Cyber Command is powerful based upon our partnership with NSA. The second piece is the partnerships that we have with the private sector. As I mentioned, the change that's taking place in cyberspace is mainly taking place within the private sector. So having those partnerships, like our under advisement program that this committee sponsored, is critical for what we're doing. The third piece is partnerships with our allies. Hunt forward teams, 9 which were conducted in 2021 by the invite of foreign governments coming into their networks and understanding is critical.
Okay, I'm over time, but let me ask you, having those partnerships, does that help you to retain some of the human capital and the troops that you need to retain?
Most definitely. I mean, people want to work with the private sector. They want to be able to deploy. They want to be able to work with academic institutions. There's an excitement that goes with that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. Senator Manchin, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, thank all three of you for your service, and General Clark, thank you and your family. I know how commitment that is and what a commitment it is, but now you get to spend hopefully a little time